Welcome everybody, and good afternoon. This is the Hive Lunch and Learn Nourish Your Brain series. And as I was saying, I think we're on the 13th or 14th day of our event, and we're really excited to have people here joining us from all over the place. And I think today was a very popular subject, so I'd love to hear why, but that's for another conversation. So I'm Charlotte Kirby, the founder of the Village Hive co-working space, and I'm zooming in from our Markham location. We're in an old schoolhouse in Markham Village, if you're familiar with Markham Village, and we opened here in 2016. And I'm joined today with Monica and Mitch. Monica's at our Duncan Mill locations in North York, and Mitch is zooming in from Midtown Toronto at our Eglinton location. So if you're not familiar with co-working, what co-working is providing a workspace and a meeting space for a community of entrepreneurs, small businesses, and remote workers. It's been a challenging year through COVID, but we've been remaining open for some of our members who find it difficult to work from home or just unable to work from home. So we have an area, co-working area where we have dedicated desks or workstations for our members, or they also have the option of renting private offices. So we have private office members that either you can rent on a month-to-month basis or a full-time basis. And in this sort of tech-lonely world, it's been a real challenge this year with people working from home. But even before the pandemic, people that were finding it difficult to work from home or finding they couldn't focus, maybe they have children at home. They've been coming into our co-working spaces and really enjoying joining our community. And so we're not just a space here just for people to work, we're also building this community of support and a place where you can share ideas and collaborations. It's been amazing for me since 2016 to watch the collaborations that have happened in our Markham space. And it's incredible to see entrepreneurs who, you know, have these great ideas and start building them together and end up working together and building their businesses together. So in the past, we've hosted lots of different workshops at our spaces. We lunch and learns that were actually in person. And right now, although our meeting spaces aren't open, we're looking forward to welcoming people back. And in the meantime, that's why we decided to do this Hive Lunch and Learn series, is just to connect with our communities online while we're waiting for everybody this lockdown to be over and for everybody to come back again. And so we welcome you to come into our community when that happens. And if you need a space or if you just want to meet some other remote workers or entrepreneurs, we welcome you to our spaces. And but right now, most importantly, we have our guest speaker today, Sarah, and she's going to talk to us about a how-to guide, how to deal with difficult people. And we had a lot of people sign up for this. So I think, I don't know if you're going to cover difficult children, Sarah, but there might be some mums or dads on here that might use some of that advice too. So welcome, Sarah, and I'll let you take it from here.
It doesn't matter the age of the person.
That's
Okay.
great.
That's the way you have to look at it, whether it's a child, whether it's a teenager, which is another story, or whether it's an adult, doesn't really matter. Okay, because difficult people are difficult people, difficult children, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter if it pertains to the workplace or it pertains to your personal life, because in both you're dealing with people. I mean, if you look at what's happened to us since last year, so it's been over a year and a half since the pandemic started, and we've all faced many, many challenges and will continue to face those challenges for a bit longer, especially in the province of Ontario. So my question to you, are you finding people more difficult now than they used to be? Okay. Are you, finding that they're more emotional, more angry, more aggressive, more even withdrawn than they used to be? This is normal for these times. I mean, catch yourself since the beginning of the pandemic. Have you may not realize, but you have changed. You had to make adjustments. And for some of us, it may be that we don't have as much patience as we used to. And that's really where we come into some of the challenges we have when we are interacting with people. And don't be naive or taken back. These challenges are not just face to face. These challenges also occur on what we're doing right now, a Zoom meeting online. And so really understanding how what's happening, how do we handle this? So this is really normal. And I'm trying to I'm trying to, shall we say, cover in 45 to 50 minutes what normally I would do in a 1 or 2 day workshop or session. Okay. So it's just going to be a snippet of what I would normally cover. Okay. And we can talk about this topic all day, tomorrow, next week, and we will not have covered everything because everybody defines a difficult person differently and will handle a situation differently. So there's a lot of learning that goes on. Unfortunately, we really don't have the time to to hear everybody. So what I recommend is everybody get a paper and pen, or a piece of paper or a pen, because what I'd like you to do is, as we're going through, think of a situation, a person that you define as difficult, or a situation you find yourself in with someone who you define as difficult. Just write it out in a sentence or two. And as we're going through some of the information content, see if you can add any points to it. And I have a slide, so I'll give you a further direction as to what we're looking for. Everybody will get a copy of the slides and of the recording, right, Mitch? Yes. And you will also be receiving what I call an ebook with exercises in it if you want to go through them which relate to our topic. And if you want to share with them with anybody, please go ahead, okay? Because everybody can benefit. The exercises are very simple and to the point. And since you're not going to really be sharing with anyone unless you want to, be honest with yourself. Okay, so let's just see if I can. Oh, hold on a minute. I have to slide share. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So we're going to take a look at a guide, a how-to guide on handling difficult people. Okay. So what are we going to cover today? First, what I'd like you to do is, before we start, put on your fuzzy slippers so that you're comfortable. Okay, and leave them on your feet, make you feel nice and fuzzy, and we will start. So this is who I am. My name is Sarah Gayer. I'm a human resource consultant. I'm also a mediator. I'm also a coach. I'm an information maven. I'm a mentor. I'm an entrepreneur, transformational change agent. I'm innovative. And also I am a mental health advocate and a few others, but I ran out of space. So what is our agenda today? Recognize who a difficult person is. How I define a difficult person is going to possibly be different than you and somebody else. Different types, we're going to look at different types of difficult people. So that piece of paper that I asked you to take out and just write, as we're going along, see if you can pick out the type of difficult person that you interacted with and how you handle it and how maybe you should have handled it. Recognize your own attitudes and their impact on others. So we look at the person as being difficult, but it could be us also who's fueling the flames. So we need to understand ourselves, and then also tips for handling that difficult person. Okay, so that piece of paper I've asked you to take out, okay, you don't have to share the information with anyone. Just write down quickly a recent situation where you encountered someone that was angry, upset, even withdrawn, okay? Then describe why you think that person was upset, angry, or withdrawn. Why do you think they feel that way? It's important to get into that person's mind. Why did they say that? Why do they feel that way? Why are they acting this way? We need to understand that. And then what symptoms did you experience in this situation? What did you experience emotionally? For example, did you get emotional, flushed cheeks, your muscles tensed, your heart rate went up, you started sweating, maybe you got shortness of breath? tunnel vision. We only see or hear what we want. And any other symptoms. Very important also to understand, how do we feel when we interact with or encounter someone who's difficult. I can give you an example that happened to me a few weeks ago. Okay. So I was asked by a client, and I've done a lot of work for them, there was a situation, there was a complaint against one of their employees by another employee. And I have met these people, these employees before. So, and we did this on Zoom. We had a Zoom meeting where I was going to interview, I'll call him Edward, about the complaint that was filed against him. So I told myself before I went on Zoom, take a deep breath, stay calm, because I knew what Edward was like. So started the Zoom meeting, asked him some questions, and he became very defensive, very combative, very defensive. And guess what? I lost it. Okay. I myself, who's sitting here in front of you, telling you how to handle a difficult person, I lost it. I lost it. And I know why. One, I mentioned to you, I have met this person before. I interacted with him before, and I knew exactly what his personality was like. And I had preconceived notions and probably some unconscious bias against him. So I already went in with a certain mind frame, even though I said to myself, no, take a deep breath, relax, don't let him get to you. He did. So I called an end to the meeting and then scheduled another meeting, which was totally different. Okay, conducted myself totally different than I did in the first meeting. So it's important to understand how you find yourself in situations like this and analyze it. After something happens, step back and say, okay, what happened here? Why did it happen? How did I react? How did I feel? Why does that person feel that way? So how do we define difficult? It's somebody who has a certain type of personality or different emotional characteristics. Okay, so I'm a type A person. You may be a type B person. Well, we could look at each other and find each other difficult because we have different personalities. We have different traits. Some people are very emotional. Some people come across as being cold-hearted. Okay, so no two people really are the same, and we're going to come across difficult people in our life. It doesn't matter, unless you want to go to the top of the mountain and live there by yourself for the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to get away from a difficult person or what you define a difficult person. So really, it's important for you to figure out, why is this person difficult? Why do I react this way, or how should I react to them? What should I be doing? Okay. Somebody's going to be difficult, whether you want them to be difficult or not. So you could say to me, Sarah, don't be so difficult. And I'll look at you. I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you saying I'm difficult? Are you picking a fight with me? Remember sibling rivalry? Okay. And I'm sure some of you have that with your own kids. So why are some people difficult? Because they're different than you are. They're not difficult. They're just different. They may not see things the way you do. They may not like the things the way you do. They may not express themselves the same way you do. I could go on and on. They don't have a clue that you consider them to be difficult. And, they just are clueless. They're stuck in the past. They're looking at the past. They keep bringing up the past all the time. You want them to move forward, but they're always focusing on the past. They're stuck in emotional kindergarten. So remember when you were in kindergarten or your kids were in kindergarten, how did the kids act? That's exactly who you're dealing with. They have low self-esteem. Maybe they don't think very highly of themselves. Maybe somebody told them as they were growing up they'd never amount to anything, that they were stupid, and so they bring that into adulthood. Or having a bad day, having a bad moment, put any word in that you want. Holding on to beliefs. We all have values, beliefs, biases, and prejudices. Those are mine. I own them. And they are probably different than yours. And I'm not going to give them up because you tell me I should, or that's not the way to see things. That's my reality. I'm not giving them up for anybody. And also, a difficult person may want too much. I want this now. I want this. I want it this way. I want all this, blah, blah, blah. I want it. I want it. I want it. Okay. And then you classify them as being difficult, which they probably are. But understand that most difficult people do not realize that they are being classified by you or others as being difficult. And that's a problem. So, just a little cartoon. I don't like to be difficult, but it's the only thing I'm really good at. Understand? This is what makes me feel important. This is what gets me off. By getting you mad, by getting you irritated, by getting you to lose it, it makes me feel powerful. It makes me feel good. Okay. So by being difficult, it makes me feel in control and powerful. So what motivates a difficult person? Okay. So you could take up meditation if you like, when you're dealing with people. They're driven by the need to control their environment. A difficult person could be driven by the need to control everything. They have to control, they're control freaks. The environment is what's happening around them. They need to control the narrative and they won't give it up. And that's where you come in and you have a problem. I need to stir things up and push your buttons. It's not hard to figure out what buttons to push in you. Okay? If I know you, I meet you a couple times or even once, I know what buttons to push to get you mad, to get you diverted into something else, take you off the topic and get you started on another topic. Watch yourself. What are your buttons? Your kids know what your buttons are to push. I guarantee you. Think about it. Behavior gets what they want without consequences. The difficult person keeps behaving in a certain way until you say, okay, you can go. Yes, you can do that. Fine, just to get them away from you or just so that you can escape from them. They know by behaving this way, they get what they want because you're going to give in to them. It's easier. They also want validation and they want to be listened to. Okay, think about it. Why am I being difficult according to you? Because I want you to tell me that I'm doing a great job, that I'm a great person. And I also want you to listen to what I have to say. You never do. And then they don't have boundaries. Anything goes. They're not afraid. There's no boundaries. There's no walls. There's no fences saying, this is how far you can go and that's it. They go as far as they need to or want to. Okay. And they have certain wants and needs that they want to fulfill and they don't care about yours. So does that describe somebody you might know? Any of these? Okay. So these are the drivers of a difficult person. And we need to understand what's driving this person, what motivates them to be classified by me or others as a difficult person. And you can change the word difficult to something else if you like. Obnoxious also works. Trigger words. You could set that person off yourself. Think about it. You can set them off by trigger words. What word or phrases gets you mad or starts your blood curdling when somebody uses it? What is that phrase or that trigger? Okay. We can set somebody off by using a certain word or a phrase. We may not realize that we're doing it, but we are. And we have to be careful the words or phrases we use, especially with certain people. Because when you use a certain, what we call trigger words, the person may feel small, disempowered, unimportant, and confrontational that you're confronting them with those words. So have you ever said, or have anybody said to you, you talk to someone and they say, whatever. And maybe they turn away and walk away and you get mad and tell them to come back and they just keep on walking or they turn around and look like they're ready to pounce on you. You always act this way. You always do this. I can always count on you to, be a you know what. Okay. I told you. How many times do I have to tell you not to do that? How many times do I have to tell you to turn the lights off? How many times do I have to tell you to make sure that you meet the deadlines? You never. I can always count on you to never do something. You can say not bad. That gets me mad. Don't tell me it's not bad because that means it's not good. If you're going to tell me it's good, then tell me it's good. It's great. But don't say it's just not bad because that means it's not good. Or have you ever used the phrase or somebody said to you, suit yourself, whatever you want to do, go ahead, I don't care. You get your way, but at what cost? Never mind. It's okay. I'll do it myself. I'm good. I can do it better than you can. Don't worry about it. I'll get it done. You don't worry about it. Just go back to whatever you were doing. How would you feel if somebody used any of these words at you or to you? And I'm sure we have all, I know I've used these words myself towards somebody. These are trigger words. This is what gets that person, shall we say, emotional, hot, tense. Okay. And then anything goes. So think about the words that you've used yourself. If anybody has any comments or anything, please feel free to use the chat to put in your comments. Okay. So here are some trigger words also. You should have done this. I told you, you should have done this and had it done by 5 o'clock. What's the matter with you? And you don't even have to, come across as being angry. Just say, you should have done this. Because notice how my voice goes up and my body language. Even if I go, you should have done this. Notice how my voice rises, even though I don't intend it to. What's another phrase for it? Instead of saying you should have, you say, can you help me understand why this wasn't done on time? Did you need help or anything like that? Something you didn't understand? You don't even have to do this. Just use the word you and say it nicely. You knew better. You know better. You should have talked to the customer. You should have given the customer what they wanted. The word no. Okay, you can say no, but is there something else you could use in its place? Well, I understand why you would like to leave early, but I need you also to understand that this is our busy time. And I really appreciate it if you would stay even for another 10 minutes to help others out. I'm still, saying no, but in a different way. Our company's policy is this. I'm in human resources. I write policies and procedures. Let me tell you, I can do it in my sleep, and I do. And, my companies want these policies so employees know what they can and cannot do. Fine. But can you phrase it a different way? Can you make it more positive? Okay. I understand you would like to do it this way, but here, let me show you something, a different way to do it that you may even like better than what you're doing right now. And you could at some point say, in our company, this is how we do it. This is the steps that we follow. So let me help you walk you through the steps. I'm still talking about the policy, but I haven't used the word policy. People do get mad or emotional when you keep saying, the policy says this, the policy says that. And I've been in companies where the managers throw that out all the time. Policy, 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 because it gives them protection. It's not me. It's somebody else. Okay. I'm not making you do it. The policy is making you do it. Okay. So just some trigger words or phrases to rephrase and rethink. Just want to take a look at a chat. Sorry. Man, but we are not difficult with others as we realize, so it becomes challenging when they do it. So it gets natural to blast out. Oh, definitely. Definitely. You may not be difficult, but you may not realize that possibly you are adding to the situation yourself. Okay. Just one more chat here. How to overcome and improve. Well, we'll see. We'll go through it and we'll see. Maybe you'll get some good points. I hope you will. Okay, so here's some rephrasing. You are wrong. And when we tell somebody you are wrong, what happens to our voice? It goes up. Even if we try not to, it will go up. And maybe our facial expressions and our body language changes. I don't agree. I'm sorry. I don't agree with what you're saying. See the difference between you're wrong or I don't agree. You don't care. I feel ignored. Sorry. You hurt me. I feel hurt. So you notice in each one of these, the word you. As soon as you use the word you, people's backs go up. Okay? Their backs go up and they are ready to fight. Think about it. Think about yourself when somebody uses the word you. How do you feel? What goes through your mind? So changing it from you to I feel this way. I'm sorry, I don't agree. I feel hurt by that, that comment you just made. That really hurt me. I need to understand why you said that. Okay? I like to use help me understand. I call that playing dumb. So, help me understand why you feel this way. Help me understand why you feel hurt. Help me understand why you feel, you feel I did something wrong. So try and rephrase it. I know it's easy to say sitting here, but when we're in that situation, we're in the moment. And the first thing that comes out, we say. All right, now let's take a look at the different types of difficult people that are out there. And you probably didn't realize there's so many different types. The calmer, okay, the person that's really calm, they're timid. They do not like conflict. They're conflict avoiders, and they also don't like responsibility. Leave them alone. They don't do a lot of talking. They don't feel comfortable talking to people, and they're silent. And when you want an answer from them, a lot of times it doesn't come because that's who they are. What should you do? Ask them questions that they can answer just with a yes or no. It makes them feel safe. Okay. So we call it closed ended questions. Would you please help me understand the problem you're facing? That's an open ended question, but you could turn it into a closed ended question. Then wait a minute. If they don't respond, then say, okay, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. So why don't we get together this afternoon at 2 o'clock and discuss this? Fine. Great. See you at 2 o'clock. Non-confrontational, non-threatening to them, and hopefully it gives them time to think about what just happened before they come back and meet you at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whenever the time is. Okay. No, that's a calmer. And they are irritating because they really don't say much. They could just be sitting there and just sitting there looking. And when you ask them a question, they don't have an answer. So the best way to get them to answer any questions is closed-ended. Yes, no, maybe. The complainer. I'm sure we all have someone like this in our life, whether it's our work life or our personal life. This is a person that's always complaining, nah, 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 crying and whining, moaning. I got sniveler here, belly aching, crybaby, disagreeable, unpleasant. This person is not a very pleasant person. Okay. But you know what? They think there's nothing wrong with them. It's your problem, not theirs. Because this is the way they've always been. And also, it's always gotten them what they wanted. Remember? What motivates them? Because by acting this way, by complaining, it wasn't me, it was somebody else. Why are you picking on me? I didn't do it. Sarah didn't get, the project wasn't done on time because Sarah was too busy on her, on Facebook. Okay, and she didn't get her part in on time. I could go on and on. I think you all have good examples of somebody who's a complainer, doesn't take responsibility. They're not very pleasant. When you come across or interact with a complainer, listen to them. What are they saying? What are they crying about? What are they complaining about? Try not to argue with them. So if they say, Sarah didn't get her work done on time, don't tell them they're lying or don't tell them they're wrong. Don't argue with them. Okay? Don't apologize for Sarah getting her work in on late. Interrupt. You say, "Oh, so what you're telling me is Sarah didn't get her work in on time. Could you help me understand what happened? Why she didn't get her work in on time?" Okay? So you can interrupt them, but be careful. Pick up a point where to interrupt and ask for specifics. I hear what you're saying. You're saying that Sarah didn't get her work on time. I understand. So help me understand why she didn't get her work in on time. Okay? Don't ask them why they're complaining, because let me tell you, they'll give you the answer, which will last probably for 3 hours or more. I don't want to know why they're complaining. It's not important, because they're just complainers. Okay? Use limited responses. Don't carry on a long dialogue with them because guess what? It's going to make them madder. Move to problem solve. Okay, so Sarah didn't get her work done on time and therefore the project missed a deadline. So what could have been done differently to make sure that this project was completed on time? Okay. And you can also answer, for example, I think that everything will turn out great. Let's just review what happened. And I'm sure that next time things will go better. Okay? I know it sounds easy. You got to practice. The Sherman Tank. I'm sure some of you know someone. They're bullies. They push people around. They love it because it makes them feel important. Okay? What do? Stand up to them. Face to face, eye to eyes. Don't get into an argument with these people because you're not going to win. Be civil. Try not to lose it. Keep your cool. Once you've stood up to them, be ready to be friendly. Okay, pushing, bully, don't argue. Don't get upset. Just stand up to them. Maybe wait for them to stop talking and then just ask a question. Asking a question a lot of times refocuses the other person on what the question is that you asked. And they forget about what they were after before or why they were mad. So in any of these situations, come across as friendly. Don't come across as being angry and losing it. Okay? It's important because then they know they got you. The sniper, sarcastic, critical, take pot shots at everybody. They have humorous put downs. They're sarcastic. They give you those looks. And they use a lot of innuendos. If you hadn't, oh wow. Well, what do you do, a sniper? You smoke them out. You could say very politely, did you mean it that way? Or am I misinterpreting what you just said? That sounds like you're making fun of me, are you? If so, why? Help me understand why you feel that way or you said that. Okay. When you question or talk to a sniper, they will always deny because these are put downs. You know, that dress really doesn't make you look good. Don't you know how to dress? You know, you're not very good in fashion. No wonder you can't get anywhere at work. They'll say, I was only kidding, only joking. But you know what? Challenge them. Don't be afraid, but it's how you challenge them that will determine whether you're going to be successful or not. Because once a sniper realizes that they can't get you down, then they stop. Okay, the exploder, normal 1 minute and loses it the next. What do? After they explode? Do nothing but look at them in the eye. Just stand there. Take a break. Walk away if you want. Then put a plan in action while you're walking away. Keep your cool and maybe come back. Okay, or maybe just ignore it. If that's the way they always are, it depends. It's up to you. Aggressive people. Why are people aggressive? Because they get their way. You either walk away and they can do what they want, and also you react to their rage, their anger. And then it's like the bomb. What do? Stand up to them, but don't fight them. Stand up to them. I don't understand why you're behaving this way. Help me understand why you feel this way. Just stand there, wait for them to stop, and then call them by their name. So, Sarah, or here, Mitch, you interrupted me. We can discuss my project scope after you listen to it. Give me a chance to explain it to you first, and then you can, you can provide me with your feedback. So I'm taking control. Remember, each one of these, I'm taking control back. The cranky person. They're cranky on purpose because we let them get away with it and they get their own way. Okay? Cranky person could be someone who has something going on inside them. Possibly they're angry. Maybe they have low self-esteem. We don't know. What should you do? Try to determine what is the real message that they're sending you. What are they really telling you by being cranky? Are you part of their problem? What can you change about your own behavior? Remember, you cannot change anybody else's behavior. You can only change how you behave. So is there something you need to do differently when you interact with this cranky person? Don't be silent with them. Speak up. Agree with, if they say something that's true, agree with it. Yes, I agree that Sarah handed in that project late. Okay. So here's something else you can say to them. Would you please speak to me in a calmer tone of voice? We'll get, we'll get further, or however you want to say it. Ask those questions. Super agreeable, someone that just says yes to everything. Oh, yes, 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 but never delivers most of the time. Yes, I'll do it. Oh, yes, 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 whatever you want. Yes, yes. And then when you go back to them and say, where is it? Oh, I forgot. Oh, I was too busy. Oh, wow. What do? Strongly state your sympathies with their workload pressure. Okay, I understand you have a lot to do. You got a lot of deadlines. I understand where you're coming from. Is there anything that I can do to help you? This way, it comes out a win-win. Don't accept false agreements. Don't make false agreements. Don't lie. Okay, and try and they'll say yes, yes, and if they say yes, I'll do something, then you say to them, okay, so what you're telling me is that you're prepared to do this, is that right? Yes. Okay, then this will be completed by, say, 12 o'clock this afternoon, is that correct? Yes. And you will bring it to me or email it to me, is that correct? Yes. Okay, so what we've agreed to is the following. Repeat it just to reinforce it. The naysayer says no to everything. No, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. No, I don't have time. I'm sorry, I'm just so swamped, I can't do it. No, no, no. Okay, I'm sure you know somebody like that. Come back with a positive or realistic statement. I understand that you're swamped. Okay, so let's take a look at what you're working on and see if there's something we can take away from you or change the deadline on. Okay, never argue with them, never be negative with them because that's what they want. Acknowledge what they say. Yes, I hear what you're saying. And then look at alternatives. Okay, so let's take a look at your schedule and see what you're working on. Okay, so if you can't finish this, then what's going to happen? Okay, and then say, okay, you know what? To help you out, I'll have Sonia over here take this, and you can complete this. Is that okay? Okay. So to stop them from saying no, no, because they know that if they keep saying no, you're not going to come to them for anything. Know it all, always right. You never challenge them that they're wrong. They're always right. They know everything. So what do? So what you're telling me is that this is the way you're going to handle it. Is that correct? You're going to do this, this, and this. Is that correct? Well, let me just point something out. If we do it this way, as you're recommending, then this is possibly what's going to happen. Okay, so provide alternatives. So what could we do instead of this? What else could we do? Okay. Okay. So, oh, that's good idea. So I'll give them the credit for the idea. Okay. Be positive. You have to be positive and say, thank you very much. That was really great. So if you have any questions, come back and see me. Okay. Otherwise, keep up the good work. Indecisive, someone who can't make a decision, even if their life relied on it. Ask them for help with specific task problems. So ask them to do something for you. Say, I need some help in this. Could you please help me? Offer them problem solving ideas because they can't make a decision. Help them make that decision. And then also find out what's keeping them from making that decision. So help me understand why you're having a hard time making a decision as to whether we should go ahead or not. What's holding you back? Okay. Okay. Have the conversation. Make the choice. You say, that's a great choice. Great. I'm glad you thought of it. Let me know if you need any help. So you can see how you turn all these negativity into positives by you taking control in a certain nice way. They don't even know you're doing it to them. Everybody is somebody's difficult person, even you. Okay, you may not look at yourself as being difficult, but let's face it, we all are at some point, in certain situations. Okay, So you could say, oh, Sarah's so nice. She's so friendly and always prepared to help and so on and so on. But she does sometimes do this or whatever. So everybody's difficult, even me, you. It all depends on the situation. Okay. So I've seen the error in my ways and I've decided to start being more respectful to my coworkers. Okay. I'm going to be nicer to them. So, hey, Bozo, I'm talking to you. Well, we don't know what her behavior was like before, so maybe this is an improvement. But you can just see by the last sentence, that's it. Okay. She's in control and she's not very friendly. Okay. Signs that you might be a difficult person. Let me just take a look at the chat for a minute, please. Oh, somebody's saying, yes, yes, I'd like to keep this list handy on my phone. I feel ignored is a very good replacement. Yes. Really good suggestions, everybody. So, what are some of the signs that you should be aware of in yourself? We don't see ourselves as being difficult. We always see the other person being difficult. Remember, that person will not change their behavior because you tell them they have to. That person needs to see a reason why they have to work on changing something about themselves. Okay. So I could say to you, what, stop being so negative. Every time I talk to you, it's negativity, negativity, negativity. Stop doing that. They're not going to because that's part of their personality. You may sit down and take a look at different ways to help them understand and maybe work out ways that they can stop being negative or catch themselves. You hardly listen to others. And that's understandable. We are so busy. We're all at home. Most of us are at home working. So you should have a lot of time on your hands to listen to your kids, to listen to your customers, to listen to your employees, to listen to your manager, to whomever. But we don't. We're so busy. We're being pulled in all directions. We're not really good listeners. Okay. Most of us have never been trained on how to actually listen. And listening means do you actually hear what the person's saying or not saying? You are quick to criticize. Okay. You focus on the negative and drawbacks to an idea. That's not going to work. I'm sorry. Nope, nope. That's not a good idea because this is going to happen if we do this. You are easily irritated by others. And this is what happened to me in the story I told you at the beginning with Edward. He easily irritates me because I know what he's like and I know what to expect. So I should know better than behave the way I did. But it was easy for him to get me to that emotional point where I almost lost it. You lack patience and tolerance. I want this now. I want this now. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't accept poor work. I don't accept late deliveries. I don't accept excuses. You are very competitive in all aspects of your life. You might be a very competitive person. You always want to outdo somebody else. You always want to be the best. And then you are in love with your ideas because your ideas are the best ideas. And because you don't listen well, you don't hear what other people are saying. Your mind is shut to anything they have to say. And therefore, your ideas are the best and you push them on other people, even though they may have a better solution. Okay. Does any of these resonate with any of you? I'm not going to admit to any of these, of course. Okay. Communications, if you know anything about communications, communication is both verbal and nonverbal. Okay. So, how we communicate is also very important. The message we're sending, we may not realize what message we're sending. So, 55% of communication is nonverbal. Your body language, your facial expressions, very important. You could be saying the right words. Oh, yeah, that's really great. But what is your face? What are your shoulders? What message is your body sending? Is it sending the opposite to the words that are coming out? Okay. No, stand in front of a mirror and pretend you're talking to someone. Okay. What are they seeing? Pretend you're talking to a certain person. How do they see you? Your words are only 7% of communications, but yet we spend a lot of our time practicing the words we're going to say. I get people to write out the script of what they want. Like I'm coaching some managers right now. I tell them to write out what they want to say to this person so they don't forget. But words are only 7% of what you communicate, and 30% is your voice. Is your voice very like this? When you get excited or mad, does your voice go up? Does it go even louder and louder? Does your voice go down? So watch that, very important, because how we communicate will also determine or can determine how that other person will react to us. Okay. So watch. I like to watch people. Okay. Because I could, I like to make up stories when I'm watching people. I'll stand afar and watch somebody based on their, body language and that, and I'll make up a story about them. So watch people because you learn more by watching people than doing this, talking to people. Because look at 55% of communication is based on the nonverbal. And when somebody does talk to you, what words are they using, but also the voice. Learn when does their voice go up, when is their voice flat, when does their voice go down. Start, focusing on that. We're more focused on what comes out of our mouth than anything else around us. So just some tips on dealing with difficult people. Be calm. Even though I did meditation before I went to meet with Edward to calm myself down and told myself all these nice little things, but he's going to try and do this to you. Keep calm, smile, whatever. I blew up. Okay. So be calm. So if you know you're going to be dealing with someone that can get you, shall we say, emotional, then go for a walk, deep breathe, watch a cartoon if you want. Okay. But don't dwell on this person's behavior. Okay. Also ask yourself, what do I think about this person? Because we have unconscious bias already. We have a perception of this person already if we've met them before, or we've heard about them, and we take that in with us when we go to meet with them. Understand the person's intentions. Why are they behaving this way? Why are they being difficult? Why do they keep saying no? Why don't they even say yes or pick up their hand to answer a question or anything? What's the matter? What's holding them back? Give some perspective, get perspective from the others. Why are they doing this? Why was he mad at me? What did I do to get him mad at me? Why did the conversation go this way? Why did the meeting end this way? Let the person know where you're coming from. Let them understand, get them know where are you coming from? Why are you asking this? Why are you saying this to them? They need to understand. And then build a rapport. Remember, everything we do is based on relationships. Okay. I always say, never let anyone know you don't like them. Okay. Because if they know you don't like them, as you can see, they can use that to their advantage. And plus, we come across with preconceived notions already about that person. So build a rapport. Take them out for coffee. Bring them a coffee. Show respect. Tell them, yes, I understand where you're coming from. Or help me understand why you feel this way, why you said this. Treat the person with respect, not disdain, because they can tell even from your body language or the tone of your voice. Focus on what can be actioned upon, what can be done. Okay, not what can't be done, but focus on what can be done to move this along, whatever it happens to be. So, okay, so Sarah didn't get her part to the project done on time, so the project was late. So let's take a look at what could we do differently next time? What did we learn from this exercise? Or, okay, we still have some time to complete this project. So let's take a look at what needs to be done in order to make sure that this project is completed on time. You notice I'm not focusing on the negative. I know what the problem is, but I'm not focusing on the problem either. I can't do anything about the past. I can only look to the future. So what could we do going forward? If I want a relationship with you, a working relationship or a friendship or whatever, but I really don't like you, okay, I don't have to have a relationship with you, but if it's one I need to have, then I need to put my biases and feelings aside and figure out how to work with you. Okay. And then if all things fail, Just ignore this difficult person and run for cover. Okay? But then when you run from cover, you really haven't handled the problem or the situation, whatever you want to call it. It's still going to be there when you come back. It's like the ostrich that puts his head in the ground, hoping that whatever's happening above ground is gone when they take their head out of the ground or of the hole. It's not. It's still there. Until you address it, it's not going away. And I'm sure a lot of you, see, relationships. What else can you do? I'm sure a lot of you have other suggestions on techniques that you've used yourself. If you would like to put them into the chat, go ahead, please, and we'll take a look at them and discuss them. So I'm just going to go to the chat right now. Okay. For a layman, it is difficult to categorize a type. Any easy, quick ways? Well, just observe the person, look at their behavior, their body language, the tone of their voice, the words that they're using. And if you're not sure, just ask a question. For example, if they're upset, say to them, help me understand. I'm not sure. Why are you upset? Are you mad at me? Or did something happen? Would you like to discuss that with me? I'm here to listen to you. Okay. Okay. So I find making the person inclusive or making them feel important breaks down their barriers a bit. Yes. So that person that the project wasn't in on time, you say to them, I know you've been doing a great job. Unfortunately, things do happen that are out of our control. Okay. So yes, but don't say things, nice things to them if they don't deserve. Yes, another one. Thank you, Tamika. How may I help you? What can I do to help you? What can I do to make sure that you meet the deadline? Or what help do you need? Perfect. Thank you, Tamika. Okay. So great ideas, guys. There's a lot of tools. As I said, this is just a snippet of how to work with, how to improve your relationship with I'm sorry, how to improve your relationship with those people that we classify as being difficult. But also don't forget to look at yourself. Okay. You could also be part of the problem. What about time you ask questions and the person behaved like they never heard it? That's fine. So if you ask them a question and they ignore it, ask them again, or maybe rephrase the question, or get them to ask you something. Okay. Remember, you can't make the person do anything you want. They have to want to answer the question. So ask them another question. Say to them, I understand you don't want to answer this, not want to answer this question, but I do need a response from you. It's important. I can't move forward without your response. Okay, so please, can you provide me with a response? Okay. So any reading material, audio, visual suggested? Oh, of course. Sarah, can you stop screen sharing? Oh, we have more questions. Okay, so I'm going to stop. Oh, so on my last page here, I've provided you with my contact information if you would like to reach out to me, LinkedIn, my company website. I will provide you with a free ebook. And also, if you would like to continue this conversation, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to talk with you. Thank you. Sorry about that. As I said, I could go on all day. All right, so questions? Let's see. If a person is forgetful all the time, how do we deal with it? I don't know. Anybody? How do you deal with someone that's forgetful? One thing Mitch, how would you deal with someone that's always forgetful?
I mean, one thing I definitely would do is kind of if you know it's an ongoing thing, then you would often say to them throughout the working together, hey, do you have any questions? These are the things we're doing. Be more proactive with giving responses and giving ideas and helping them along because that can be something that they do.
Yeah, thank you. If somebody's always forgetful, like for me, I have to have to-do lists. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. So you may show them, talk to them about give them a calendar. Go out and buy, a calendar. Give them pages of to do, and have them have a to-do list for every day. Show them how to follow up. And you may want to check in with them either the beginning of each day, the end of the day, or once a week to see how they're doing. And if somebody's always forgetful, always give them deadlines. Even if it's just calling a customer, say, okay, I need you to call Charlotte by today, 4:30. It's important, okay? When you've talked to her, please come back and tell me how the conversation went and what she said. You can say, well, I don't have time for that. It's babysitting. Yeah, but that's, as you do that on an ongoing basis, that person will hopefully start to understand and take over themselves, and you won't have to, shall we say, micromanage them that much. So it's a good question. So how do you handle people that are moody? You never know what mood they'll be in. Good question. Anybody have an answer? Just unmute your mic. Anybody?
Point to them when their mood is good.
I'm sorry?
Approach them when their mood is good. Don't talk when their mood is not good,
Well, if you don't know what mood they're going to be in, it's hard. So really, thank you for sharing that, Naz. Expect them to be moody when you approach them. Look at their body language. Ask them how they are. See how they respond. And then ask them a question. See how they respond. And then that will give you some idea of what mood they're in. If they're in a good mood, fine. If they're in a bad mood, you need to say, okay, you can say to them, I'll say to you, so you don't seem happy today. Did something happen? Or you seem to be in a bad mood today. Did something happen? Can I help you? Do you want to share with me? Call them on it. Because they may not realize the impact that their behavior, their mood has on people.